This is Jordan Page, and you are listening to Liberty Movement Radio because you can handle the truth.
Welcome to the bleeding edge of talk radio, coming to you live from the beating heart of America's street. Shamrock and Shenanigans, putting the liberty in Liberty Movement Radio.
Welcome to this week's episode of Shamrocks and Shenanigans. I'm your host, King, and to my left, you have our lovely co-host, Sil. Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you. You had a big echo, but you fixed it somehow real quick, thank goodness.
Yeah, I have to get used to this new setup. I forgot to click off of one thing to click on to something else, and yeah, but I think we're good now.
Yeah, sounds good.
So, today is January 11th, 2017, and we have a very special episode. I guess we would like to introduce Jordan Page. Jordan Page has been part of the Liberty Movement for a very long time, since Ron Paul days, and probably before that. He is involved in CannaSense, which is a new company that has been going for... what is it now? Probably about 6 months or so, I would say. He's been officially open maybe about a year, but they've actually been in the works for about 13 now.
Actually, yes, I think you're correct.
Okay. Yeah, I guess it's about 5 after. I know we told Jordan that we would call him, and he's pretty much waiting, so let's see if we can get him on the line and get right into this. Brian.
Okay.
And of course, Jordan's not answering right now.
He will, hang on.
Yeah.
He's probably waiting for me to say, calling.
Yeah, right.
So, big day today all the way around, actually.
Yeah, definitely.
Big thing. Social media is weighing in. It's like they got this little crack in there going nuts.
Oh, I think he's finally connected. There we go.
There
hey, Jordan.
Is.
All I heard was the word nuts, and I was like, huh? Oh wait, it's Margaret. Okay, I get it now.
I was talking about you, dear.
Oh, okay. So I'm just warning you, this might be a little crazy on my end because we're right in the middle of dinner time, and I got a house full of crazy babies, and I got one little tiny guy who just cannot seem to get along without me. So you might have another special guest here in a minute.
Awesome.
Which would be fun.
I totally understand. I have two myself. One is 8 and one is 1. And it's just about dinner time here. We're having a little bit of a late dinner tonight. And things they were a mess today, just trying to get everything ready. And you know how it is when you're scrambling for shows. And no matter how prepared you are, you're never fully prepared.
I know how that is.
Sorry for not being able to see me, but hopefully things will improve sometime tonight, but I can't guarantee it. So,
okay, well, the show must go on, right?
That's it.
Exactly.
Let's get right into it. So you are part of CannaSense now. Oh, hey, there he is. Hello.
There's my little buddy. Say hi, Tommy. Hi, Tommy.
Hi, Tommy.
Yeah.
He seems happy now.
He's a happy guy.
He's in Daddy's arms.
All right, so let's talk about CannaSense. What is it? What is it? I've been talking about it all day long, but I'm going to talk about it a little bit more because we want to let the whole world know. So what CannaSense is, it's a medical cannabis collective. It was started by my good friend Neil Schloss, who is a CPA in New Jersey, a successful CPA in New Jersey.
Wow.
And I've known him for years through the Ron Paul movement. He's been a friend of mine for a long time, done a lot of things together. He's a great guy. He's one of our people. So, Neil's the kind of guy who has sued the federal government a number of times and won a few of them. So he's fearless when it comes to that, and he really believes in cannabis freedom. And he and a team of lawyers over the last decade have figured out that there are a number of laws that you can be in compliance with and get access to cannabis, and they sort of cracked the code, so to speak. So what we're doing is there's 3 laws you have to remember in order to comprehend this program. So there's the Compassionate Use Act, California law from 1996. Sorry, if you hear screaming in the background, it's just babies.
It's same thing in my house.
They want their dinner. So we're talking about the Compassionate Use Act, which was a California law that allows people to become members of a medical cannabis collective with the recommendation of a doctor. And then you had Obamacare got passed, which created telemedicine, where you can see a doctor over the internet. And it's the same thing legally as seeing them in person. And then you have the U.S. Constitution, which, as we all know, is the supreme law of the United States. And that law has a reciprocity clause, Article 4, Section 1, which says that all the states operate in good faith and credit that they will honor each other's laws and acts and statutes, even if that state's laws are different. Now, they use this a lot of times in cases like with child custody hearings or child custody disputes where the different states' laws aren't the same, but they come from a certain state of origin. Well, for our purposes, what we're doing is we set every patient up with a medical doctor, a California board-certified medical physician, through a teleconference service that we've exclusively partnered with. Through this service, they are getting a California medical card and a recommendation for membership in CannaSense. So everybody that we sign up for this program becomes a California patient. Whether you live in Texas or Tennessee or Alaska, it doesn't matter. You're a California patient. If you're an American, this applies to the United States of America. You become a California patient under the protection of the Compassionate Use Act and under the provisions of Obamacare and under the protection of Article 4, Section 1, under those guidelines. So we are in strict compliance with those laws. It creates a legal route around the roadblocks of the Schedule 1 status by making everyone California patients through the telemedicine aspect. And so now we've got patients in all 50 states. We're shipping to all 50 states. And as a caregiver, I don't actually handle any cannabis. I never have to. I'm just helping people get connected to the network and get access to the doctors and help them through the process. And CannaSense is just an amazing organization. It's an answer to people's prayers. It's helping people all over the country get access now instead of letting them die or letting them go on suffering while the state legislatures make up their mind. Now, if you live in a medical cannabis state, you're paying hundreds of dollars for your doctor's appointment usually. Plus, you have to re-up your recommendation several times a year, which is more money. With CannaSense, because you're a California patient, you only do it once a year, and it's $65 for the whole shebang. You pay $65 for the doctor, a treatment plan, a medical card, and the recommendation, which is your California prescription.
Right.
So it's the same thing as you magically being transported to California yourself in person and getting this recommendation from the doctor yourself.
Would the doctor have to be a annual thing?
Yes.
It's once a year. You have to renew once a year. Like in New Jersey, for example, you have to renew every 2 to 3 months. And I think it's $125 to renew it every time. So you got to do that like 3-4 times a year. That adds up on top of what you're already paying for your medicine and what you paid to get and the hoops you had to jump through to begin with.
Just to cut you off,
we're talking about a streamlined process that is helping people get access to cannabis no matter where they live.
Jordan, I'm actually a registered patient here in New Jersey, and I just switched my doctor maybe about 2 months ago because my other doctor got out of the program. So I had to go over to a new doctor. They don't accept any insurance when they're dealing with the medical cannabis, and it was $355 to get set up with the new doctor. On top of that, it's about, with a discount, roughly $300 and some per ounce, about $320 per ounce in the dispensary. And that's for a mix.
And we can beat that too. We can beat those prices too. Not only would you save the money doing it with us, if you were to become in compliance with the CannaSense program, you'd only be $65 for the whole thing. And then if you were a full member, you would have the discount. Now, there's 2 ways to join. Well, actually, let me back up for a second because I left out something really important my wife just brought up to me. Because this is really, guys, what got me to join this program. And to start helping people to get access. The CannaSense Foundation. Now we got to talk about this because this is like, for me, this was the crux of the whole thing. People ask all the time, well, what do I do if I get caught? What do I do if I get in trouble?
Right.
And of course, that's a valid concern. It's on everybody's mind. Well, it was on CannaSense's mind too. It was on Neil's mind and his co-founder Lou's mind and their legal team's mind. So what they did was they created a foundation called the CannaSense Foundation. And the CannaSense Foundation's purpose, one of its main purposes, is that if any of their members or patients ever get into any legal trouble and have legal ramifications for having cannabis, the CannaSense Foundation will actually pay for their lawyer. They will actually provide them with a legal defense team completely paid for. And that's not something you're going to find anywhere else. They also they have a program with the CannaSense Foundation to help people get medicine if they can't afford it. So if someone, people who make donations to the CannaSense Foundation in that regard can actually help people get their medicine for free. I actually just learned about that today. I didn't even realize that. That's another added benefit of the CannaSense Foundation. But the big one for me was that they will pay for your lawyer to defend you in court if you have to defend yourself. You're not dealing with public defenders, which is a joke, and you're not shelling out thousands of dollars yourself. By being a member with CannaSense, they've got your back. And that is really what tipped the scales for me and said, okay, I can completely get behind this and lead people towards this. This is awesome. And I'm just a huge fan of this program. I've been sponsoring people left and right. It's like all I do all day long now until my next shows come up in a few weeks. I'm just helping lots of people get signed up since September. Really, I've been doing this, so it's turning out pretty good for me.
Now, my question is, in a case like me, now I'm currently on probation here in New Jersey for having possessed over 50 grams. I got caught last year with about 1.5 pounds. Surprisingly, probation is allowing me to continue consuming cannabis because I have a valid prescription. Now, my question would be, what would I have to do to get probation to authorize the going through CannaSense? I would imagine they're probably going to have to consult with the legal team or something.
Yeah, but quite frankly, I could take that question right to Neil and have him ask the head of the legal team, Kevin, and I could probably get an answer for you that by tomorrow. If you can send it to me like in a message, I'll make sure to get it to Neil. And that's one thing that I do as a caregiver for people is I get their questions answered. If I don't know the answer, I'll get it answered pretty quickly. If there's a suggestion people have, I've had lots of patients give me suggestions or things that they'd like to see in the store, and that weren't there, and now they are there. Like CannaSense is very flexible. They care about their patients. They're always trying to find new ways to draw people in, to get them what they're after. If there's a certain product, let's say you went to Colorado and you tried something that really helped, but it's not in our store, tell us what it is and we'll call that vendor and get it in the store. I mean, we're literally doing it right now. I just introduced them to a whole new line of products that for women, for all different kinds of women's issues. You can use your imagination, but they're CannaSense products that help women, with their menstrual cycles and all that kind of stuff. So because that wasn't an option in the store, and just do a little research, make a couple connections, and boom, you're there. So CannaSense is a company that is like, it's listening to the people that work there, and it's listening to the patients, and it wants to give you what you need. And it's really a one-of-a-kind program. Plus, we ship to your home. So you're really taking out if you're buying it on the street, on the black market, you're exposing yourself to arrest. You don't always know what you're getting, and you don't always know who the people are you're getting it from. And it's just a much more dangerous way to go, and you don't have any backup. If you get busted. So if you get into compliance with the laws through this program, then you have all the benefits of the legal defense team that I mentioned earlier, and you get it shipped to your home in discreet packaging, which is another added benefit for your anonymity and your privacy. And everybody at CannaSense are big freedom fighters, and they believe in people's freedom and their privacy, and we're trying to provide that. So you're getting medical grade cannabis shipped to your home, and you get a free legal team. It's worth it. So there's two ways to join. You can either be like, if you're going to be a patient, if you're going to be a caregiver, that's a whole other situation. If you're going to be a patient, you can either have a patient status or a member status. And the patient, it doesn't cost anything to be a patient, just the money for the doctor, $65 for the doctor. That gets you a patient ID, and then you order from the store. The only drawback is you're paying full price for your medicine. You're not, you don't get a discount, and it's not cheap. It's not astronomical, but it's not cheap. It's competitively priced, but it's not $25 a quarter like it was when I was a kid. So it's expensive. But if you do the full membership, if you're going to be doing long-term treatment, it's really the way to go, because you get a 30% discount as a member, and that adds up really quickly. It's an upfront cost of a one-time fee of $420. You get $300 worth of medicine for that. You get $300 worth of cannabis, or you can customize an option and pick out $300 worth of medicine from the store, of all the various things that they sell. And then every order after that is 30% off for life. You never pay that fee again, and it's for life, and you always have the discount. So if you're going to be placing orders monthly or even just semi-regularly, it's a better deal to do the membership because of how much you end up saving.
That's awesome. Right off the bat, you're really only paying $120 for the membership, because you're getting $300 free. And then
that's correct.
And then you're paying $65 a year for your certificate from California.
That's correct.
That's awesome.
And if you're in a state that doesn't have any medical marijuana legislation, this is the only road you have to getting it by being in compliance with the law, which is important to a lot of people. Some people, that's not important to them, and I understand that argument too. But for the folks that's important to, this is a completely streamlined process to help you get access to what you need. It comes right to your home. It's high quality, and you get a treatment plan from the doctor too. And the CannaSense team is always there to work with you and help you figure it out. And I mean, you guys know me. Like I've been an activist for 10 years. You know, I'm all about freedom. I've had a lot of different causes over the years that I've cared about. And, you know, there was a time I was very misguided on cannabis, having been a former habitual user, dealer. You know, I mean, I was deep in that culture and got out of it. And I haven't actually I haven't recreationally smoked cannabis in 17 years. And I don't recreationally smoke it. I don't have any on hand, and I don't plan to, because I don't have a medical use for it. But I am also very supportive of the recreational market too, and the recreational market can take advantage of this program as well. They just need to demonstrate to the doctor that we set them up with just a basic need for cannabis, and they're in the program. So
that's where California.
But I myself, I'm not a habitual user. I just deeply believe in the healing power of cannabis. I've seen what it can do. I understand all the arguments, and I have a very strong theological argument for those religious folks out there that have a moral religious objection, and I have those conversations all the time. People don't realize they have a cannabis system in their bodies. I mean, every human being. We don't have a broccoli system, you know.
The
we don't have a
endocannabinoid
system. We have a cannabis system, right?
The endogenous cannabinoid system. You are absolutely correct.
And that system creates communication between all the other systems and makes them do right. It makes them work together and communicate effectively. It shuts down the immune system from attacking healthy cells. If you have an autoimmune disorder, cannabis, you should be using cannabis. You should be getting it in your system so that the endogenous cannabinoid system can get to work and make it stop. You know, I talk to people with different diseases every day. I talked to 2 cancer patients today. I talked to a person with severe depression today. You know, I talk to people with inflammatory diseases all the time. Lyme disease is the biggest one. Never had any idea how many people are suffering with the debilitating effects of Lyme disease. It is awful. And cannabis has major impact on Lyme disease. Oh my God. So, you know, more often than not, I mean, by far more often than not, cannabis is absolutely a treatment option that doesn't have the side effects that you get with pharmaceuticals. So, I mean, it's all people have to do is do some small amount of research on this to understand that it's been demonized and stigmatized by the establishment for financial reasons, for power reasons. I mean, the prison industrial complex, the pharmaceutical industrial complex, the militarization of police. I mean, like, police unions and prison lobbies are the biggest lobbyers to keep cannabis on a Schedule 1. Why do you think that is? The pharmaceutical companies too. Why do you think that is? Because they know that it's the cure. They know that it heals people and that it makes them not have any need of their drugs anymore. And but it also, keeping it illegal, keeps the prisons full of slaves and slave labor. It's these are $1 trillion industries. They have vested huge financial interests in keeping cannabis as a Schedule 1, and they're trying like hell to get in front of it so that they can regulate it and profit from it. But the culture is just moving too fast, and for them, and we're winning, and there's no doubt about it. We will have won when every person for a nonviolent drug offense is out of prison. That's when you know that we've won. But we're not there yet, but we're going to get there. And the culture war is where the real battle needs to take place, because what the culture demands, it will eventually get. And we're well on our way. And CannaSense, I'm very proud to be part of it, and I'm very proud that it's helping people to live more free and helping people to get what they need to be healthy.
You know what impresses me about this the most are all the families that are going to benefit from their children having seizures, and they won't let them use in their state, so they're having to flee in their homes, their jobs, and everything, just for their kids. And with this, they'll have an avenue, and I think that's just paramount.
And this could, you're right, Margaret. This could effectively end the medical refugee crisis, where people are having to move to Colorado or Washington or Alaska or California to get what they need for them and then for their. So, we recognize we're living under certain levels of tyranny in this country. I would argue under large levels of tyranny. But for the average person who doesn't get that, they do get that there is some tyranny, or I wouldn't be having a conversation with them about how they can get medical cannabis. They would just have a garden in their backyard, and this wouldn't be an issue if there wasn't tyranny. I mean, the proof is in the pudding, as my dad used to say. So, that's not really up for debate. But, so they do still have to be careful, and they have to be aware of what the laws are in their state, and they have to understand the ramifications. But, for some people, this is a choice between life and death, and they're willing to take the risk. And even if there is, and even with the risk there, they're not on their own. They have the CannaSense Foundation to back them up and pay for their legal fees if they have any problems, which is something that is a huge weight off of people's minds, guys. I mean, I talk to people, like I said, all the time, and they're blown away by this program.
Especially when you're a sick patient, you're already living off of a very limited salary or income, and you don't have that extra money to turn around and throw out on a legal fund. You're talking to go through fighting a case in some states, $15,000, $20,000, $25,000, $30,000 to be able to retain counsel. So just knowing that you don't have to bear that burden anymore, and you have somebody else that's going to back you up, that's a huge selling point.
Huge.
Oh, I think so too. That's what sold me. And right now, I actually had a conversation with Neil Schloss earlier today about using a medical, like there are medical companies that will actually finance, they're like medical financing companies. Margaret, put that cigarette down. What are you doing? You're talking about cancer.
She told me.
Cancer, and you're going to smoke a cigarette? What?
At least he couldn't see me.
I told him, stop it, you cigarette stealer. Stop it. Stop it. Only one, just one.
For shame, Margaret.
At a time. Hey, she's not smoking, the cigarette is.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Go ahead.
As I was saying before, I was rudely interrupted by that cigarette, Margaret. I was talking to Neil earlier today about getting some of these medical financing companies to come on board and to finance some of the bigger transactions, because like with a cancer patient, the oils are expensive. I mean, it takes a lot of cannabis to create a little bit of oil, because it's the concentrated medicine right out of the plant, drains everything out of the plant. So, I mean, you guys know this, and most people watching do too, but I'll explain it anyway. So, for the patient price, I think for a gram, which is a whole syringe of oil, I think it's like $172. The member price is like $125. But if you're a cancer patient, okay, and you need a 60-gram treatment option, like that's an aggressive cancer treatment option, is 60 grams of THC combined with CBD oil, like the Rick Simpson method, essentially. I mean, you're talking about $7,500 for 60 grams over 90 days, which most people don't have. So we're working on finding a way to finance these larger orders for such something like a cancer treatment plan, so that people can actually make payments on something like that, because it isn't something that you're going to be taking over a year's time. You're going to be taking it over to 3 months time, but it needs to be paid for when you buy it. So we're working very hard to get a medical financing company on board to finance these things and and get people reasonable payments, instead of having to go through the chemotherapy and radiation and all the horror that comes with that. They can do the natural way to get this done and get it done in a way that they can afford to do. So that is something for any folks that are struggling with cancer out there. That is something that we are actively working on right now.
I'm curious to see how the prices start changing as it becomes legalized and the government tries to take that monopoly. You know what I'm saying?
Well, CannaSense will always, I'm sure they will always competitively price their products, based on the market rates, so there, I mean, anytime government gets involved in something, they screw it all up and they ruin it. So,
yes.
So we don't want government taxing it. We don't want them regulating. We don't want them to have anything to do with it. We want them out. We don't want them to have anything to do with this. I mean, do they tax broccoli? Do they tax artichokes? And they shouldn't be taxing cannabis.
Actually, they do.
Well, they do. Well, fine. Maybe you pay a sales tax at the grocery store, Mary Page, but but you're not paying all kinds of regulatory fees. Like we don't want the government getting rich off of cannabis. Although some people are fighting for that because in some way, in some people's minds, that legitimizes it. Like for me, I'm a natural law kind of person. Everyone has the right to consume what they want to consume, as long as they're not hurting anybody else. Yeah, but see, Margaret, with that cigarette, anybody in the room you're giving cancer to too. So that is a violation of the non-aggression principle right there.
No, Tim. No, Tim Frey. No, that's all I have to say. Tim Frey.
What's Tim Frey gonna do about it? What's he got to say about this?
He was on my side. He said you were wrong.
Margaret, I am trying to save your life. I'm talking about saving lives, and you're smoking a cigarette. That just shake my head.
Yeah, so I'll join you. He can't see me. Well, I know you guys can't see me, but everybody else can. So.
Right, exactly. Mike's bad too.
And you know what's horrible is I keep going back and forth as I have my vaporizer right here in front of me. So I'm like kind of off them, but I'm still on them, and yeah.
You should be vaping cannabis, not nicotine. Not
I should
tobacco.
Be vaping, everything.
Or the mutated Frankenstein concoction that is what's in that cigarette you're smoking. That's not even tobacco. That's all kinds of. There's like
all kinds of chemicals
that are known carcinogens and cancer causers in every one of those daggone cigarettes. If you're going to smoke something, smoke cannabis or vape cannabis. That's at least healthy for you.
I've broken some of these cigarettes open, and you'd be surprised at what's in them. Half the time, it's not even tobacco. There's all kinds of other fillers that look like wood and cardboard and that kind of stuff.
I've seen the wood in them and stuff. Yeah.
Oh,
let's go forward to something more pleasant.
Let's go forward and not draw attention to Margaret's awful addiction that we have to break her from.
Right.
I like how you get blamed. That's great.
Oh yes, it's fabulous. Gee, I had something to bring up, but y'all just beat the spirit right out of me.
This is really amazing.
Poor Margaret. She's so impressed.
The question I had for you was as far as shipping goes. Oh, yes. I'm sorry. I'm guessing you use standard methods and everything.
Yeah, we use the U.S. Postal Service and FedEx and UPS, depending on what the patient needs. Like some people where they live, the Postal Service doesn't come to their house.
Right.
So we don't ship to post office boxes. We only ship to street addresses. And so we'll use the Postal Service or FedEx or UPS depending on what they need.
Oh. Yep. And there hasn't been any issues with packages being intercepted and seized or.
There has, but we always get them worked out because the law is on our side. I mean, it definitely has happened where they end up, Neil will get a phone call from a postmaster or something, and he'll be asking questions about this or that, but in the end, the laws are on our side regarding being a medical cannabis collective, and so it usually always gets worked out.
That's the amazing
But the legal liability is on CannaSense, not the patients. Until it reaches their hands,
right?
It's entirely on CannaSense.
Well, let me ask you, Jordan. I just wanted to ask you this. I had thought about you last night. How do you feel about Trump putting JF or what's his name, Bobby Kennedy? Wait, about the vaccine thing. The vaccine thing.
Oh, that's great. No, that's like the only appointment he's done so far that I've been like, okay, this makes sense. Everybody else, he drained the swamp and filled his cabinet with it. He's putting Sessions in as the Attorney General, and he's like the most anti-cannabis guy on the planet. I mean, what's he thinking? I mean, that's like the worst appointment he could possibly have.
Vaccine thing and the big schmack to CNN today. I'm happy with those two things.
Not for nothing, but me being into the.
Hang on, guys. Hang on. We have some kind of diaper emergency. Hang on 1 second.
Okay. What
do you need? I'm like, what am I supposed to do about it? I'm on camera. This is part of just having 6 children and it being a madhouse.
God bless you.
Judy, come over. You come to your mama, Judah. All right, there we go.
Oh yeah, he really took care of the problem. Come to your mama.
Same thing I would be
So
doing
where
right
were
now.
we? I lost my train of thought.
Well, see, serves you right.
Dude, it was just on my mind because I was going to respond to it, and now I'm drawing a blank. Probably that bong hit I had.
We were talking about the mail, and that is on people's minds. But and you have to remember something, that the Commerce Clause of the Constitution does not apply to citizens. It only applies to the states and Indian tribes. It does not apply to citizens, and it certainly doesn't apply to your medicine. You as a patient are not. It's not a commercial enterprise for you. And if one thing I forgot to mention is that if you're a caregiver, you can actually get legal transit papers from CannaSense in order to transport the medication to a patient.
Wow.
So if I drive across town to bring someone something, I can actually get legal papers to carry with me in case I get stopped. That being a caregiver with a medical cannabis collective under the legal framework that I mentioned, you can actually do that. I've got a friend who is a caregiver under me that I sponsored, who is going to be signing people up at one central location at like a workspace, and all of the packages will come to him, and then he's the caregiver. He has the transit papers, and so he can physically hand them out to everyone. So there aren't 40 packages coming in. There's one package, and he can actually hand them out to people, and get paid for doing that too, because you get paid for deliveries.
Absolutely.
So, and there's a lot of ways to make money doing this, or just to earn credit toward free cannabis. If you're a member and you're sponsoring people, you're making a referral commission, and you can also make product purchase commissions from people. So it is set up for, if you want to make money at it, it's set up like an MLM, and they got a pretty cool compensation plan. And some people are really interested in that, and some people aren't. But in its simplest form, if you refer a handful of people, you're going to be getting your cannabis for free, because you can put it as credit in your account and just purchase off of that credit. So that is very attractive to a lot of patients.
How do you go about getting the caregiver thing to transport?
You just have to ask for the papers and provide details about like where you're going to be transporting them from and to, and CannaSense goes through like a legal process of with their legal team to get that paperwork processed for you and sent to you.
This sounds more amazing by the moment to me.
It's incredible. There's nothing like it. And I tell you this, I've been on the phone with a lot of organizers from some of the major cannabis conferences and expos all over the country, because I'm looking at representing CannaSense and doing some exhibition booths at some of these major conferences. And I've been explaining this program to them over the phone, and they're blown away. They've never heard anything like this, and no one has ever put this together before in this way. And it really fills in the gaps and what's missing in the medical cannabis industry right now for the people for the huge market of people that need it and can't get it. And this is the way to do it.
Absolutely.
So if people want to get involved, just email me, jordanpagemusic@gmail.com. They can get a hold of me through Facebook, which is facebook.com/JordanPageMusic. You can send me a messenger message, or you can get a hold of me at jordanpagemusic@gmail. And just send me a message that you saw me on the show and that you want to get started. And I am personally sponsoring people into the program and helping people that would like to be caregivers and like to help others and make some money. I'm helping them get set up too, and to learn all about the program and be able to help other people.
It sounds awesome, man. Really.
It sounds like, of everything I've ever heard in this kind of area, they have put much time and thought into this.
Every aspect.
Like they've covered some bases here.
Making this company, it was like 13 years in the making. I mean, they took their time and they set up a streamlined process. They set up all the safeguards you can get, and they have a great selection in the store, but there's still things that aren't there, and we're going to have a whole lot of new stuff. I mean, right now, edible selection is basically like the tinctures and chocolate and coffee, and oil pills, but we're going to be getting lollipops and hard candies and gummy bears.
Gummy bears.
Oh man, cannabis gummy bears. Can you imagine? You eat one of them bad boys, you're going to be circling Venus. You know, so the best part about CannaSense, by far, better than anything that I've mentioned so far, is that Desert King Mountain Seed Company in Northern California is a grower that we've partnered with recently. And they have a strain of cannabis named after this guy right here.
I heard about
and
that.
Jordan Page is available in the CannaSense store. You go to cannasense.com/shop and then click on the flowers section under sativa. Click the drop down menu and you will see my name because that is the Jordan Page strain. You can smoke me. Woohoo!
I am actually pulling you up on screen right now.
I'm so yeah.
I saw this earlier. I was going to bring it up.
That's better than a freaking hoagie, man. Hands
Yeah.
down. Hands
I
down.
found out in September, right when I was like looking at joining up with CannaSense. I found out that they had made this. They made Jordan Page and they made Arm Yourselves, which is which is my song. And now they're doing the Jordan Page breeding program, which is hilarious because I have all these kids, right? And my wife was like laughing her butt off when I told her about the Jordan Page breeding program.
I believe, if I remember right,
Actually,
that was a hybrid, correct?
He was not amused. But now they're doing Jordan Page Part 2. The one that they have now is a sativa. It's got like a 25% THC rating, which is pretty high. And the folks that have sampled it have said that it's outrageous. Like the psychoactive effects are extremely strong on the Jordan Page strain. I have not sampled it because, as I said, I don't smoke it. But I am curious as to what it is. So I'm living vicariously through other people.
I'm not a large partaker, but I do take cannabis oil, but it doesn't have the THC in it because it's not legal here. But I actually, once I got on the cannabis oil, they had me on blood pressure medicine, which is ridiculous. They're putting like kids out of high school on blood pressure medicine. So I started the cannabis oil and I threw them in the garbage, and I've never been on it again. And that was 3 years ago. And they don't even mention it anymore that I have high blood pressure. So and I just took the oil for a little while, and it just, it's just fine now.
Certain types of cannabis oils can actually lower your blood pressure significantly.
Oh yeah, it did. So I'm a full believer.
Hallelujah, Margaret.
I am. I totally am. Like, okay, I'll go one further. I had hepatitis C from a blood transfusion when I had my son. And that's something you never get rid of, ever. So every now and then it'll flare. And the last time that it flared, they told me it was very, very serious. And they wanted to give me vaccines and this. And I said, you know what? I said, no, thank you. I said, you give me 2 weeks and I'll come back and do your analysis and we'll see. Well, I got on the cannabis oil. I got on colloidal silver. I started eating really well. I started researching. 2 weeks, I went back and did my urinalysis, and they called me on the phone, and we were like, we don't know what the hell you did, but your pH in your body is perfect. So
that's awesome, Margaret.
It was. It made me feel
Way
empowered.
To go, Margaret.
It really empowered me, though.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's fantastic.
I know. I've been a type 1 insulin-dependent diabetic since I was 12 years old, and I'm going on 35 in a couple months. I know I saw the Rick Simpson story, what was it, Run from the Cure on YouTube several years ago. Mm-hmm. And it was very compelling to me. I believed in everything that I saw because I had already known the effects that I was getting from cannabis just with chronic nausea and vomiting from another stomach condition. And when I heard that they were curing cancer and other very debilitating diseases, I was blown away. So I started having to go on this path of trying to do research on my own, and I got myself a substantial quantity of cannabis and made some oil, and they recommend about a gram a day. So me being the experienced cannabis activist that I am, I figured, well, if a little is good, more is better. So I was consuming about 2 to 3 grams a day. And inside of about 2 days, I was able to take off my insulin pump, which I wear 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
I was waiting for you to say that, man. I was listening to this story. I'm like, he's gonna tell me in a couple of minutes what
And
the miracle that happened.
I
Yep.
was actually put into a psych unit and everything because I started blabbing about it. I tried alerting everybody when I saw this actually working. I sounded the alarms and called anybody and everybody that I thought would listen. I was messaging people, and I eventually ended up getting myself put in a psych unit because I we were having problems with my then 4-year-old son. He had been having temperament issues ever since he had gotten his shots at about 6 months old. And when I saw the way it worked for me, and I knew that they were giving it to children and curing brain tumors and other really bad things, I knew that it was very effective for ADD, ADHD like symptoms, and all these other diagnoses. So I put a little bit, maybe about a half a grain of rice amount, on a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and gave it to him at bedtime. It was the first night that he actually slept the entire night without waking up screaming at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
And when he woke up in
Yeah.
the morning, he was happy. He wasn't aggressive. He wasn't angry and trying to swing at me and his mother. He was just happy and loving. So again, I went and put this out there, and that's what actually got me put into the psych unit and got a New Jersey DIFUS case opened up against me and everything in that regard. So it took me about a year and a half of fighting to finally prove my sanity and everything. And
Wow.
uh, but again, it was I had money put away that I was going to use to go to school, and it ended up having to go for a legal defense fund, and just for doing something that I knew was beneficial. But these people were trying to say that I was trying to kill my child.
Oh my God. What ridiculous crap that is. Oh my God.
It's
I know,
amazing.
it's
I'm
like,
sorry you went through that, brother, but
You know what? In a way, I'm not. I'm glad it was me versus other people that it could have been that I know, because at least I had a way to get through it and really didn't lose too much other than some time. It taught me a lot.
it's
It was a big eye opener. I got to really see how corrupt the system was.
it's really amazing that I guess we're different from other people. We know a lot of activists, and we see people right up front with the problems and the strife and the things they've done. Normal people in your neighborhood, they don't see those things like we do, but I really think it's coming. I think this is the wave of the future. I think Big
Hmm.
Pharma needs to go. Um, Between Big Pharma and the prison situation, I mean, it's a big business. Let's put them out of business.
oh, I agree. I mean, non-compliance with the system is how you shut it down. I mean, we got into this situation because of two unsavory characters in the 1930s. Harry J. Anslinger was the
Hmm.
first director of the Bureau of Narcotics, and William Randolph Hearst was the newspaper mogul, and he had huge vested interests in timber for his newspapers. And Anslinger wanted to grow the Bureau of Narcotics, and they got together and they did a nationwide media just smear campaign against
Hmm.
cannabis for like 10 years, which led to a number of smaller laws get passed that were the stepping stones to the Controlled Substances Act. I mean, these guys have so much to answer for. I wouldn't be them for all the money in the world. I mean, they are the reason that the prison industrial complex became what it's become. They are the reason that the pharmaceutical industrial complex is what it is. And it's all about education. When you tell people the truth and give them the ability to make an informed decision, and realize that they've been lied to and they need to tweak their perspective on something, that's how things change. Ask them the right questions and show them the truth. And but the thing is with cannabis, like, more and more I find you don't have to sell cannabis. Cannabis sells itself.
Yep.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Everybody loves weed. I mean, I may be the only person I know that doesn't smoke weed. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm a cannabis freedom activist, and I don't even smoke weed. But like, I'm one of the only people I know that doesn't smoke weed. So, besides my wife, like, I mean, like, we're like the squarest, straightest people on planet Earth. But this is what I'm doing, full time now. When I'm not performing, I'm doing this. So It really, you're right, Margaret. It is the wave of the future, and people are waking up in mass. This thing is just, it's so far out of control now of the evil forces and the powers that be, that like I'm very hopeful for the future, and I'm loving what I'm seeing with CannaSense, and like we're helping actual people with actual suffering. I mean, so, some of these
Exactly.
calls I'm on, I mean, they break my heart, and I'm kind of downtrodden at the end of them. But especially when people are destitute and they can't pay for their medicine, and
Mhm.
we're just
Yeah.
trying to find ways to help them pay for it. But I'm also super excited every time a patient calls me and says, "I got my shipment, and I had the first night without pain in 5 years." Or I've had the first
Mhm.
real night's sleep and 8 hours worth of sleep in 10 years. And I woke up feeling great this morning and I have no pain. Like that is real human, experience. That is a real human moment. And I'm privileged to be some small part of that, just to help them get connected, and to take that step toward health and improving their quality of life. I mean, this like I said, this is an answer to prayer for so many people, and I'm so passionate about it. I mean, it's really kind of taken over my life. You can ask my wife. I'm like, she's looking at me over here, because I'm making these calls all day long, and really getting to know people and getting to understand what they've been through, and their stories and their pain, their suffering has really taken root in my heart, and has propelled me to devote myself to this, because it really is helping people.
Yeah,
It's
I've been preaching a long time before this, but I find that people, they're not, it's like they think that this way is more trouble than it just is to have an insurance and go throwing money away and getting all these masking of the symptoms. But they're really getting nowhere with it. It's not hard. This is easier, but they think this is more complicated, but it's not. And
oh,
oh, we
yeah, we
lost
just
Jordan.
lost Jordan.
The baby probably hung up.
Could be, or it looked like he froze for a second, so it could have been a signal quality thing.
Yeah, yeah, it could have been.
I'll give him a second. Let's see if he calls back in. It's about that time for him anyway. He said he could only. Oh, here he is.
There he is.
Sorry, I lost you.
That's all
It's
right.
okay.
Welcome back.
All right.
So, as you were saying, still.
I forgot what I was saying. What was I saying?
You were saying how much you love me,
Oh,
Oh
I was
wow.
not.
and you
I
and you
was
were
saying,
saying that you're going to become a member of CannaSense and join the
well,
team.
well, indeed, I'm certainly going to do that. Um, other than that, you're
Yeah,
full of crap.
I'm getting ready to say, sign me up myself.
No, I really believe in this a lot. Like I said, I'd been talking to people way before it, but now with this makes it easier, to comprehend and to be a part of. This is like cannabis for dummies. You know,
That's awesome way to put it. I'm stealing that. Oh,
You
I'm
know,
so stealing
the
that.
the one thing,
Cannabis for dummies.
the one
That
well,
is
yeah,
awesome. I
the
love
one
that.
thing that really impresses me about everything is I'm very familiar with California's laws and the extent of conditions and diseases and everything that are encompassed in the law. You're talking anything from slight depression all the way to full-blown HIV and AIDS.
Sure.
Cancer, just about every single medical condition you could think of,
amazing.
California basically approves, including menstrual cramps. I know women that suffer severely during some certain times in a month, and cannabis is one thing that is proven effective. And California is I think, one of the only states that actually approves it for that condition. So,
Well, it's funny you mentioned that, because Whoopi Goldberg, we all know Whoopi Goldberg. She's partnered with a cannabis entrepreneur, and they have a new line called Whoopi and Maya. And my wife was doing some research, and she found their website, and they have a number of products for that very thing. And they have one called Savor, which is it's like a chocolate cocoa powder infused with cannabis, and it's a specific formula for that specific issue.
Wow.
And they actually had an option that if you were a medical cannabis collective and wanted to carry it in your store, contact us. And so I put Neil in touch with them, and we are partnering with them now, and those products will be available in the CannaSense store here in the very near future.
Awesome.
Wow, that's cool. I don't like her, but that's cool.
Well, yeah, no comment.
It's not about that.
Right.
It's not about that.
It's the thought. It's
Not
what
about that. I mean, if she's a believer in cannabis, hey, we've got some common ground. Hallelujah.
Right.
And she's taking a step
that.
she's taking a step to help people, use cannabis to heal themselves, and I cannot fault her for that, and I'm on board. So we're going to carry those products proudly and leave all the other stuff behind.
Right.
I hear you.
We
That's
should
awesome.
do that in a lot of forums.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I agree.
I agree with that, hands down. So, we're coming up on the top of the...
I really do need to jump off here. I got to help my wife with all these crazy babies, and I got to eat some dinner. But
Awesome.
I really appreciate you having me on to talk about this. And Veronica,
Hello.
say hello.
Hey,
Say
Veronica.
hi.
Hey.
Hi, Veronica.
This is my peanut.
Hi.
And let's do it again, and I'll keep you posted on if I hear from anyone from this interview. And if you guys are interested, let me know. Anybody interested, again, email me at jordanpagemusic@gmail.com or hit me up on Facebook, and I'll help you get hooked up and guide you through the process.
Okay,
Awesome.
I'll be talking to you.
The same here,
All
Jordan.
right.
We'll definitely
Now
be in touch.
Beat it, Jordan. I need to have a cigarette.
Good. Thanks for coming on the show, man. We really appreciate it. Have a good
Thank
one.
you guys.
Bye.
Peace out. Good
Peace.
night.
Good night. Oh, I told
Okay.
you he was going to attack me, did I not?
Yep. That's awesome, man. He's a great guy. There's certain people that are involved in this movement, and they're just really, really good people, and you have to appreciate them.
Yeah, he's kind of bright and shiny.
Okay. You're so
Okay.
wrong.
Now what are we doing?
We are coming up on the top of the hour, so we are going to break.
Okay, cool.
You're cool with that?
Yes,
Let me
I'm going to
get
have a
in
cigarette.
here.
This is Derek Bros of the Conscious Resistance Network, and you're listening to Liberty Movement Radio.
Mute your mic.
Listen to the sound that you hear like an echo in your head. There's a strange vibration rising now from the heart of America, America. Listen to the sound of a drum calling players to the game of the new world order. Don't be caught unaware when the heads start rolling. Happen here, I know it wouldn't happen here. I will not submit to authority of man. I'm alive, I'm awake. This is more than I can take. If you had an open door, would you kill a little more? Listen to the cries of the dead in the wake of the Sudan. Is there no one out there? I see blood in the sands of despair in Africa. Listen to the sound of applause in a chamber full of men selling out their people as they plan their assault on the heart of America. Happen here, I know it wouldn't happen here. I will not submit to authority of man. I'm alive, I'm awake. This is more than I can take. If you had an open door, would you kill a little more? said the ghost of Vietnam through a veil of napalm. Don't forget your mistakes and where you came from. I will not submit to authority of man. I'm ready to die, but not for a lie. See the signs up here, you know it's gonna happen here.
Okay, are we back on?
This is Adam Kokesh of thefreedomline.com, home of the most important book for freedom ever, and you're listening to Liberty Movement Radio. Americans die, locked up in the houses where it's safe inside. Can't you all see that the war's going on? Right out in the streets on your own front lawn. Wake up everybody, cause we've all been played. Open your eyes, you're no longer a slave. Only a bullet that can open our cage. And we all break free, we all break free. Yeah. There is a time to kill. While the hospitals turning ill people away, lack of health care or insurance won't pay. Repossessed houses lined up in rows, millions of citizens losing their homes. Government corruption is out of control, stacking up profits, selling our soul, selling our freedom, selling our minds. How sick is this shit? Yeah. How sick is this? Come on. How sick is this shit? There is a time to kill. 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 To them your life is worth nothing. Is it the time to kill? Wow! Is it the time to kill? Yeah! Wow! This is the time to kill! This is the time to kill! This is the time to kill! This is the time to kill!
Welcome to the bleeding edge of talk radio, coming to you live from the beating heart of America's streets, Shamrocks and Shenanigans, putting the liberty in Liberty Movement Radio.
And welcome back to Shamrocks and Shenanigans. Unmute your mic.
I did.
There we go.
I have to have click time, dude. So, let's talk about the slap that CNN got today. I loved every moment of that. I posted for hours. It was like social media just kicked in. You know, they had this little bitty crack, and then they went nuts with the shit. Go, social media. You know, it was an end that we needed.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, article after article, video after video. I mean, everybody was right on time. I bet it was like within 3 hours that everybody had their stuff up. I was just like, yes, I was so proud.
You sent me some links before, and if you want, I'll put them up on screen as you sent them to me. I know you can't see them, but the one is the "You Are Fake News." Trump and CNN's Jim Acosta get into shouting match at presser. And
oh yeah, that was the thing that spurred.
Yep, that was it. And I got the video right here. I'll kill some time by playing all this. Oh, what's going on here?
I had a shorter one, but I couldn't find it.
All of a sudden, some triangle came up. It could be because I run an ad blocker.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. Let me see if I could disable it.
I run that as well.
And some of these sites, they won't let you play the videos if you have one.
Ah.
Now it's
any information that turned out to be so false and fake out. I think it's a disgrace. And I say that, and that's something that Nazi Germany would have done and did do. I think it's a disgrace. That information that was false and fake and never happened got released to the public. As far as BuzzFeed, which is a failing pile of garbage, writing it, I think they're going to suffer the consequences. They already are. And as far as CNN going out of their way to build it up, and by the way, we just found out I was coming down. Michael Cohen. Michael Cohen is a very talented lawyer. He's a good lawyer in my firm. It was just reported that it wasn't this Michael Cohen they were talking about. So all night long, it's Michael Cohen. I said, I want to see your passport. He brings his passport to my office. I say, hey, wait a minute. He didn't leave the country. He wasn't out of the country. They had Michael Cohen of the Trump Organization was in Prague. It turned out to be a different Michael Cohen. It's a disgrace what took place. It's a disgrace. And I think they ought to apologize to start with Michael Cohen.
Since you're attacking us, can you give us a question? Mr. President-elect.
Go ahead.
Mr. President-elect, since you are attacking our news organization, can you give us a chance?
Your organization
You are
is
attacking
terrible.
our news organization.
Your organization
Can you give us a
is
chance
terrible.
to ask a question, sir?
Go ahead.
Sir, can
Quiet.
you state,
Quiet.
Mr. President-elect,
Go ahead.
can you state
She's
categorically,
asking a question.
Mr.
Don't be rude.
President-elect, can you give us a question?
Don't be
You're
rude.
attacking us. Can you give us a question?
Don't be rude. No, I'm not going to give you a question. I'm not going to give you a question.
Can you state categorically?
You are fake news.
Sir,
go ahead.
Can you state
That's classic.
categorically that nobody... No, Mr. President-elect, that's not appropriate.
President Obama went too far with the sanctions he put on Russia after the hacking. Do you think they're
I don't
disproportionate?
think he went too far.
And what,
No.
will you roll them back?
No.
And what do you think of Lindsey Graham's
I don't say-
plan to send you a bill for tougher ones?
And that was the initial start, and he just kept going. He kept skipping over CNN. He would not take a question from them.
No, he said, you are fake news. I loved it. It was so badass. So badass.
And you got the Josh Tolley. He turned around.
Oh, yeah.
He made a video. That was great. I watched that before.
I love Josh. He's great. He does the greatest stuff.
Yeah, we might as well throw that on.
Here by now, I am sure you have seen or heard the Hey everybody, Josh Tully here. By now I am sure you have seen or heard the press conference that Donald Trump had today where he essentially smacked CNN. Now, if you don't know what happened, BuzzFeed ran a fake story that pretty much everybody and their brother knew was fake. The liberal press even knew it was fake for the most part, but still you have those vindictive people on the progressive liberal left who are trying to take down Trump with whatever they can. And then CNN ran with it as well, knowing full well that it was probably fake. And that's why they filled it with disclaimers, unverified, undocumented. It was basically trying to be a hit piece. Well, today Trump had a press conference where he essentially slapped CNN.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. No, not you. Not you. Your organization's terrible. Your organization's terrible. Let's go. Go ahead.
That is great.
Quiet. Go ahead. She's asking a question. Don't be rude. Don't be rude. Don't be rude. No, I'm not going to give you a question. I'm not going to give you a question.
Can you state categorically,
Sir,
can you state categorically that nobody... No, Mr. President, that's not
Got to
appropriate.
give it to him.
Now, what's really interesting is you have all these liberals now getting mad. Like, oh my goodness, how dare he do that to CNN? Oh, this is a dictatorship. This is exactly what we feared. This is the kind of behavior that's the epitome of evil. You know, we should never tolerate a president or a president-elect who treats the media like this. Well, wait a second. Where were you when Hillary Clinton literally had reporters rounded up with a rope? Where were you when Barack Obama put a bunch of reporters on an airplane and sent them away so he didn't have to face them in a meeting he was having? Where were you when Joe Biden had a guy locked in the closet? Now, I know they're going to say, well, it wasn't technically a closet. Yes, we apologize, and yes, it was wrong. But technically, it had a window, so it wasn't a closet. You get the point. If Trump would have done any of this, you would have been livid. Why are you only livid when somebody who you don't agree with does it? You know what that's called? It's called hypocrisy. Yes, you're a hypocrite. Now, I know people can change. You don't need to stay a hypocrite. You can be an equal opportunity offender. That's fine. That's fine, and I'm not saying that Trump is wonderful. Matter of fact, on the Josh Tully Show, which airs Monday through Friday, 9 to 11, by the way, we are holding Trump accountable. We're taking a look at his picks, and that's our job, is to hold people accountable. What did stick out at the press conference, which you should be paying attention to, is how, again, this term fake news is being used. Now, this is a term that's dangerous to everybody. Pro-Trumpers, anti-Trumpers, people who don't even care one way or the other. This idea of fake news and somehow it has to be combated, this is really where the threat is. In the NDAA 2017, they put in an amendment, a bill attached to it, really, and it was called the Countering Foreign Disinformation and Propaganda Act. That is extremely dangerous, because even if you were anti-Trump or pro-Trump, this idea that somehow we need to get rid of fake news is bad, especially when the government gets to determine what is and what is not fake. And I'll put a link to the video explaining what that bill is right below, because all evidence today suggests that the Obama administration and the Trump administration is trying to fight fake news, and as long as they do it with the issuing of information to counter it voluntarily, that's great. But as soon as they start having the government declare what is and what is not fake, that's where it crosses the line for everybody. But you shouldn't be hypocrites. Grow up, woman up, man up, and say, wait a second, is what he did the same as what Barack did? No, Trump was a lot less worse. Was it the same as what Joe Biden did? No, Trump was a daisy compared to that. Was it as bad as what Hillary has done? Oh gosh, no, are you serious? No, nothing can be as bad as what Hillary has done, I don't think. So what Trump did today, was it unprofessional? Maybe, that's your opinion. What it really was, hey, I'm letting you know now that I'm not going to be respecting you if you're not going to be respecting me. That's what it was. And this whole idea of, oh, well, you know, he's being a dictator. Notice how he didn't prevent them from having a front row seat. He knew who was going to be there. If he was really going to be all tyrannical and Obama-ish, he would have said, fine, they don't get to be at the press conference. Did he do that? No, he gave him a front row seat. He just wasn't going to answer their question. Some people might agree with it, some people might not. Either way, it happened. But here's the point. You have to grow up. You cannot spend the next 4 years being so easily triggered. It annoys everybody who knows how to tie their shoes. You have to man up, woman up. You can't spend the next 4 to 8 years saying, oh, well, he did this, he did that, and ignoring what Barack Obama did and Hillary Clinton did. You have to be intellectually honest with yourself. You have to say, hey, wait a second, did I hate it when they did it? And if the answer is no, because, well, everybody wasn't fair to Obama, then you're a hypocrite. Welcome to 2017. It's going to be a fun ride.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you
There we go. And we're back.
And we're back.
Well,
Oh, shit.
you know, the things going on right now are really starting to grab my attention, I guess. You know, it seems like, I don't know, he made certain appointments. Almost, it seems like he did it to appease a certain crowd and get him into office. And now that he's actually getting closer to getting into office, he's going to start doing things his way.
Well, yeah, the whole Kennedy thing with the vaccine thing really told that tale, I think.
Yeah, I really think that was just a big eye-opener of what's yet to come. And he's going to...
I think that he had that in mind and knew that he had to do it last.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the last things to do.
And now you have Pence, not so much Trump, but Pence coming out and really starting to try and push the issue for going after Hillary. And why did the FBI let this thing go? So
yeah,
I think it's going to get very interesting.
I'm totally interested. I mean, they had me at hello from this morning. Once he bitch slapped CNN after last night when he made the Kennedy guy the vaccination person, I was just like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Because and you know what? Everybody that really disliked Trump and said he was a shill and all this stuff are really starting to be like, I mean, they're just quiet because they're like, they're not being, they can't process, you know? And it's really hard to process.
Absolutely. You know, I said from the beginning, I've tried to be very open on the topic. I did not vote for Trump. I just couldn't do it and live with myself. I voted for principles that I believe in, and I voted for Ron Paul, even though I knew it was throwing a vote away. It was my way of giving a silent message. But
my state took Trump at like 11 in the morning. I'm not saying that I wouldn't have. I'm just saying that I didn't have to. I mean, you know, he
already won.
Yeah.
I'm in Jersey, and that was a Hillary state, but...
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, this is a Republican state.
Yeah.
I mean, hands down.
Yeah, surprisingly, we do have a Republican governor, but it's not a Republican state. It is very Democratic up here. But, you know, when it comes to Trump now, I've tried to remain open and really didn't want to be too judgmental, too critical, but I brought up different points that kind of concerned me. I mean, there were certain appointments, there's certain connections that he has. We know that he's related to the Clintons, and I believe also to the Bushes as well, because the Bushes are related to the Clintons. But
yes, they are.
Yes, I know that. So you know that there's a connection there, and you don't really think that family is going to turn on family or blood is going to turn on blood, but then again, it does happen. So
hey, it's happened historically.
Yeah.
I mean, if you'll ever watch, you know, I mean, all the kings and queens, oh my God, they were stabbing each other in the head.
Each other. So is that what we have going on right now? Do we have a billionaire who's fighting for more power for himself, but he's going to use the people to get that and put those people out of power? It's anybody's ball game right now. It's
either way, in my opinion. New criminals in the White House are better than old ones because they're not as strong.
Correct.
So I mean,
not as established.
You know what I'm saying? I'm a glass half full girl most of the time. Since 2012. When my heart was broken so bad, I just figure how much worse can it fucking get?
I hear you.
I hate to be like that, but yeah. And then we have Adam coming on the horizon in 2020.
Yeah.
And that should be a major, hopefully a major upset. At least it'll be real damn interesting.
We shall see. It's definitely going to be interesting, to say the least.
I'm probably going to campaign for Adam. I've already offered up myself for Alabama District 3.
Nice.
So, and I think somebody else has for Kentucky, but I won't mention her name. But we both know who that is.
Okay.
So, I don't know. He really kind of has a grid with who's taken what already. So, and I'm not by myself with the District 3. I'm going to have Chad Thrower with me, which he and I did the national campaign in 2012 for Ron Paul.
Nice.
So it should be interesting.
It should definitely get interesting.
Yeah, I mean it should be just fun campaigning. I mean Adam's fun on the campaign trail. Adam's fun.
I don't know Adam in that respect, but I just know Adam, as a regular guy pretty much, and he's just a cool person to me. So I can only imagine that it would come out more when you're on a campaign trail with him, or any kind of tour for that matter.
Chris just got online. Call him and tell him he's going to be on air.
Chris who?
Our Irishman. He's on Skype.
Oh boy, you want me to call him? Oh.
Come on.
Oh boy.
We got some time to kill. Yeah, oh boy, but not for long.
Things are about to get interesting now.
I agree. Why not?
Let's see. How do I... That...
Let me see.
Very full.
Let me warn him.
Aww.
What?
You gonna tip him off?
You want me to?
Go
Maybe
ahead.
not.
No.
Go ahead and see what you can do.
Yeah, we'll call him.
Okay. He knew we were going on tonight. Oh. My doggies just ran over my wire.
I didn't hear anything, so...
Yeah.
Nope, he's not answering. Saying busy.
Do what now?
No, I said he's not answering. It said it was busy.
Oh, maybe he's talking to somebody else.
That could be. I know when I looked him up, it said that he was not available.
Gotcha. Oh well. He missed out on the rant. Or we missed out on the damn rant, rather.
What the heck is going on? There we go.
Yeah. Oh, goodness. Facebook. Okay. What do we want to do now? Do we want to go ahead and sign out?
I think we might as well wrap this up now and then.
Yeah, we've got some work to do, don't we?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. And don't forget, you have to put me on that schedule.
Oh, yeah. I'll work it out this week.
I'll try.
I'll have it set up for you by Sunday. Don't worry.
I'm sure you will, bitch. Okay. I'll see you in a few minutes somewhere else.
Let's take us out. Darn it, I gotta close this. I knew I wasn't prepared for this.
No, well, you know.
You popped it on me. Okay, I'm taking us out now.
Okay. In the words of Porky Pig, piss off, Lou.
Mama, take this badge off of me. I can't use it anymore. It's getting too dark too dark to see. Feel like I'm knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, 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 knocking on heaven's door. Mama put my guns in the ground. I can't shoot them anymore. That long black cloud is coming down. Feel like I'm knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, 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 knocking on heaven's door.
Hey, this is Sheriff Mack, and welcome to Liberty Movement Radio.